Immolation. Immolation. Remember. Zard, remember. Immolation. Immolation. Hey Splinter fam. It's been a while for me, and also it's been a while since Immolation's launch. And I thought it's been enough time for me to give my opinions on it, because obviously now I'm about to play with it. I'm not that made like no rash judgments on it. So let's get into it. It seems C-Rex not found its place in the meta yet, but is that the same for Immolation? That's why I'm here, to tell you how good and bad the cards are. So let's break it down. Before we do, go like the video if you're excited for the next airdrop card to come out. And also, comment below what you think about Immolation. Yo, do you remember what I said in my last intro? Let's play it back. I know you're excited for a bear to come out and Untamed to finally leave. But the problem is, if you're a non-subscriber, you'll continue to lose your games against Untamed summoners until a bear comes out. So do you know how to stop that? Subscribe now. Well, that's all still true. So if you're not a subscriber, you will continue to lose to the Untamed cards. So you know how to stop that? Subscribe now. With all that said, let's finally get into the video. Cue the intro. We know how we do card breakdowns. We basically talk about how good and bad they are. And how we do that is by talking about the pros and cons. And also breaking down the rule types you may and may not want to be using them in. But as I'm a fan of this card, we're going to start off with the pros. And if I didn't like it, we're going to start with the cons. And the first pro is it's kind of going to be a monster in 99 mana games. The thing is with this card, it's such high mana, being 12, that you're not going to use it all the time. But the thing is, in 99 mana, this card's going to be a monster. With all its abilities, it's so diverse. And because it's got Inspire, if you compare it off with a bunch of like the sneak monsters and like the opportunity monsters that Red has, you can build a big monster of a team. And you can put out so much damage. And the thing is, it's got salvage, so it'll stay alive over time. And it can just do so many things, and it's going to be great. And at max level, it's got blast. And what more can you ask for in a monster? Think about the teams you can make. You can put the Forgotten One in there with Immolation, and also using the opportunity with Watcher card. I can't think of its name right now. The thing is, the next pro is it's got Inspire. And Fire used to, before it become like a range focused Splinter, it was more of a melee focused Splinter. It had like all the sneak, the opportunities and everything else. And also Tarsa. Tarsa's powered everybody up. And with Inspire, you don't have to worry about Tarsa anymore. You can now play that Scargor or Jax. And now you can just have Inspire with a monster. And the thing is, this monster it's going to live. Because it's got salvage and it's got shield. It's got protections and it gains life back. So I feel like your team's going to get the best out of Inspire here. And the thing is, it's even got the shield ability. So it'd be amazing in a mirror match. You can put it at the back of your team and it could be a sneak target. And it'll be like taking less damage. And think about the opportunity as well, because it don't necessarily have high health. So it could be like an opportunity target. Because Red does kind of have some high health monsters. So it could get attacked like that. But it's got shields, so it can live for a while, and you never know, with the salvage, it can stay alive for the whole game. And there's one thing everyone's kind of like forgetting about. Magic Blast is so overpowered. Think about it. You're going behind the shields, and you're doing it to the monsters next to them as well. And Blast is so overpowered as it is. And the thing is, with Yoden going, once Rebellion comes out, you need Red kind of wants all them monsters that have Blast, so it's kind of like a memento of like the Yoden era. I don't know, I'm just a big fan of Blast. I think doing any extra damage you can, so like poison and things like that, thorns, return fire. So, you know, Blast is a great addition to that, and also it's more in your control, because all you gotta do is attack and you're doing extra damage. If you've been watching a lot of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of salvage, and any card that has this ability, I put it high up in the ranks. Because in my mind, if it just stays alive, it's collecting more and more lives, and it can just do so much damage in the meantime. You got abilities like Life Leech, but the thing is, you got to attack. And imagine you're attacking and you're hitting the thorns, you're not really getting the best of that ability and getting the regain. But with Salvage, you're just doing so much. Think about Dr. Blight. Think about when that card becomes so key, when it gets this ability. So this card here is going to be such a great monster, like sitting at the back, slowly collecting lives. For me, I feel like this is going to be like a card's going to sit at the back, because there's no reason to like be in at the beginning positions, because it can protect itself and gain life. It's got shields, and it's just going to protect itself from sneak as well. The thing is, it has an amazing mix of abilities. It has protection, it has buffs, it has extra damage. Like, what more can this card do? We kind of asked for higher mana support cards, and we finally got one, and it's really good. Because the thing is, C-Rex wasn't an amazing card, but this card is great and it's definitely going to get so much use, and I think this card is great for the future of the red Splinter. That's the thing, this card allows the fire Splinter to be diverse. It doesn't have to be melee focus or range focus, it can now start building up its magic focus. And I feel with Jax as well, you can have scattershot grade anywhere. And I'm not a super fan of range cards because they come with their own problems, but magic cards are so great. I'm a big fan of them. So this card here is going to do so much in the meta. I feel once Rebellion comes out, I feel like red's going to take a change. I feel it's going to go from being range focused to being magic focused. And if it does, Jax is going to be such an amazing summoner because you can combine the amazing magic cards and range cards and do so much damage everywhere. This is just like the pros of the card. We're going to get into the cons in a minute. But before we do, let's get into the rule types you definitely will be playing this card in. So let's finally get into the rule types you definitely will be playing this card in. And the first one's going to be Born Again, as it's got a Scavenger ability and Blast. So Scavenger, as more monsters keep dying, it's going to keep on building lives. So there's more chance of it, getting higher and higher health. And with the Blast ability, you may get lucky and kill 2 monsters at once. And as they keep coming back again and again, it gets annoying with the abilities. So if you can get rid of them as quick as you can, it's going to be better, and this card can do that so well. And on top of that, it can keep it up its health. What more can you ask for? The second wall type is going to be like a combo wall type, as it's going to be the snipe and the scattershot wall types, as it's got blast and it's got magic, so it goes behind shields. So as it's flying around, it's all its damage. It can kill maybe like 1 or 2 monsters at once, and then as they die, it builds up lives. Like this wall type here, you definitely want to play this card, as it can also defend itself against the range cards that attack it, as it's got shields. The thing is, these are the only standout wall types I feel Immolation is going to be good in, because its abilities are kind of like a weird jumble. So you're going to play him in some games and some not, and it's not going to stand out in like any wall type really, but it's going to be great in certain teams. The thing is with Immolation, it's kind of like a good card all round, and it can be used in so many different situations. So there's not really like standout wall types it's great in, but there's just a few. Like Born Again is definitely a great one because of the Scavenger. But we've talked about all the positives about this card, and it's time to get into the cons. The thing is, with all cards, they can't all be pros. There's definitely got to be some cons, because otherwise they'll just be too overpowered and too abusive. And the first con of this card is it's really high mana. And if you think about it, you're not going to play it in every single game, because you're going to have to find ways to play it in there. And you're going to have to build teams around it. I feel like this can't be a centerpiece of your team. It needs to be an addition. So for me, it's only going to get played in high mana games, and you're never going to find like a good place to play it. But when you do, it's definitely going to be a good card, but you got to find the time to play it. And another con is, for me, it doesn't necessarily get really good until it's max level in Diamond, as it gets the blast ability then, and then it can have to do so much more things. It's got the Scavenger, but for me, once it gets blast, it's so much better. And it's the same problem with C-Rec. Once it gets to the max level, it gets amplified and all its abilities get better. And it's the same thing with Immolation. But it's definitely still good, and you can definitely play it from like Silver League and up, because obviously it gets the Scavenger ability. But once it gets to max level, it's so overpowered. But I guess it's still good in Silver, but it's definitely not good at Bronze League. Like I kind of said like in the first point, it being high mana, it's going to be so hard to put it into teams, as unless it's going to be like 60 mana plus, you're not going to be able to put it in there. And unless you're going to put like a low mana tank in, and red don't have many of them. It has the 1 6 mana Curstesian card, but it's not necessarily a great tank. And you don't want this card to be the main focus, and it's not going to win you games by itself. Like down the line, we may be wrong, but it's a great card in 99 mana and high mana games. But anything where it's like 30 mana, you're not going to play this card, because you're not going to have the supporting cast in red to be able to play it. Maybe once Rebellion comes out, red will have a better low mana supporting cast, but for now it doesn't really. But when you can play this card, it's going to be great, but it's going to be hard to put into teams. Also, it's really high mana for a weird mix of abilities. For me, it don't have like one single focus. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It's got so many different purposes, but it hasn't got one single focus. So for me, it's like you're going to throw it into like some situations, but it's not like an all-round card, but it also is. It's a weird combination, like I said. Like when you play it, you can play it in melee focused teams because obviously it's got Inspire. You can play it in magic focused teams and it's got Blast, and magic cards don't normally have a lot of health, so you can definitely kill them really quickly. And also you can kind of play and keep your distance as it's got the shield ability. But then again, it's high mana, and you already got your teams that you kind of use in them situations. And I feel it's not going to find its place in there. But I feel like high mana games, this card's going to be a big piece. And I feel maybe down the line we'll extend the mana cap. And when we do, this card may find more playability. Even though I waited to kind of make this video to see like how good this card is, I still think this card is kind of like a wait and see card, because when Rebellion comes out, I feel like Red's going to take a different turn. I feel, and I could put my money on it. It's going to be a magic focused Splinter. And when it does, I feel like this card's going to be a great card then. Because when it gets a bit more support in cast, which I feel like it needs more like a triage card, it finally needs like a healer. Because this card, Immolation, can definitely get some great use from a triage. And Red don't have any really. They don't have no hidden at all. And I feel in Rebellion, they might get them cards. And then when the supporting cards come out, this card will become a monster. Because maybe you might have like a low mana tank you can use. Kind of like Pellicle Bandit, for example. Pellicle Conjurer, that's what I mean. See the 2 mana, and then you can just have the rest of your team. I feel when you can do that with Red, then this card's going to get a lot of play. This is just some of the negative points about the card, but before we finish the video, let's get into the rule types you definitely don't want to be playing this card in. So let's get into the rule types you definitely don't want to be playing Immolation. Starting off is Reverse Speed. It's not fast, it's not slow. It's got 3 speed, and it's kind of like that in between speed. So it's not going to attack first, it's not going to attack last. So you can never really play in a good situation. And in Reverse Speed, you kind of want to play 1 or 2 speed cards. So for me, this card's going to get no play in it. And if you do play it, it's going to be weird. So maybe don't play it in them situations. And the last one's going to be like a combination one like we did with Sniper and Scattershot. And it's going to be Flying and Poison. For me, these rule types have a similar thing where you get damaged over time. And the thing with this monster, it can't really take that much damage. It does have 9 health, but the thing is, it kind of wants to be like unattacked. And with these rule types, it's going to get attacked every single turn. And the thing is, it could get lucky and it could do this salvage ability to like keep going in life. But for me, you don't want this card to be at focus at all. And this rule type, it just makes you a focus. It makes your whole team a focus. So you don't want to be playing this card necessarily in this rule type. We have the same situation that we had with like, the rule types you did want to play this card in. And it's the same thing with this situation with the rule types you don't want to play this card in. And that's it's kind of a weird card, so it don't stand out in being bad or good in any rule type. There's a few rule types where you do want to play it and you don't want to play it. But apart from that, yeah, it's going to be like situational. Because your team could support this card in any rule type at any point. And its abilities are really diverse. So it can be a positive and a negative in any rule type. So over time, we're going to definitely flush out the rule types it's going to be good in. But for now, these are like the standout ones, in the ones you want to play it and the ones you don't want to play it in. As Rift Watchers is finally finishing, I wonder if the next 2 cards are going to be a high mana like the last 2. Because hopefully it's not, because we want the cards to be usable, and if it's high mana, we're not going to be able to use it in every game. Thing is though, with the set finally ending, we can start getting excited for Rebellion, start getting excited for the new mechanics, and start getting excited for Splinter to just be like fun again, and be a bit more fresh, and you know, new cards coming out, meta changing. I guarantee it, the tavern's going to be an amazing place to be in. But that's it from us for today. So if you haven't already, like the video if you're excited for this airdrop card to come out, and comment below what you think about Immolation. Oh, remember, if you're not a subscriber, you will continue to lose to untamed cards, so press that button now. And also remember, be a shark in this world, not a whale. And we're going to see you guys next time.